Hey guys, here's probably a familiar sight, and some of you remember some of this from way back. Tom Lipton sent me a 123 block that wasn't completed, and I've been ignoring it for a long time, and I've had a bunch of stuff to do, but I thought it was high time I get busy on it. So, just going to recap real quick, and we're going to go back and verify some of our dimensions. Now we needed to start out with a 1-inch dimension, so I'm going to grab a 1-inch gauge block, and let's just put this away. We don't need anything else out of there for now. And I will verify that that's 1 inch real quick. Checking multiple sources off a set of blocks that you trust 99%. It's just got a nice feel to it on the way through, and there she locks up right there at 1 inch on the dot. Alright, so we're going to use that 1-inch gauge block for comparison to jump from here to here with the surface gauge, or actually a height gauge with a tenths indicator on it. So we're going to get down into the same zip code here, lock our top, fuss around with the bottom, lock it there, make a little sweep. I know you guys can't read this gauge. You're going to just have to take my word for it. If it's not on video, it didn't happen. But no, you're going to have to take my word for it. I don't feel like moving the camera because basically I'm lazy. All right, so in last video we got both of these sides parallel and to size, and we're going to see if it's been sitting here for over a month, so let's see if this thing even moved. We're right there on 0. Back to gauge block, snaps right back to 0. So we can check it in 1, 2, 3, 4 corners, all within a tenth. I don't know if I got room under there to slide it underneath. Yeah, I do. So I can get out here in the middle. It's a little proud up in the center. It's about a tenth proud there in the middle. Flip it, check the other side just for giggles. If you want to see more in-depth coverage of this, you can go back and I think the name of the video was Easy as 1, 2, 3, as in 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those are the dimensions of the block. Okay, so we're happy that we're still parallel. Didn't get dropped, didn't get moved, whatever. Get this to the side. And now what we're going to do today is some more grinding on these other sides. And we're going to grind a 3-inch side and a 2-inch side. And leaving the other two, available to us later. But we need to get them square with each other and square with the two surfaces we've already completed. And we're going to use a toolmaker's vise. And what I did to prepare that, what I did to prepare that was put some 600 grit paper down on the plate, and just with the weight of the vise, just give it a quick rub around, and then examine it and make sure I didn't have any high spots that were showing up as a shiny spot. Now we're gonna put this in the vise this way, and we're gonna hang it out slightly on one side and the top. We're gonna grind two sides without removing it from the vise. But what we don't want to do is, these surfaces are untrustable, if you will. We don't want this surface down here to lay down on the bottom of the vise and influence it when we clamp the vise. So I'm just gonna lay it on a piece of drill rod. This is a piece of 1/4 inch drill rod that's been mic'd, and I know it's accurate. And I'm just going to lay my block on top of that. Now we're going to come in with our Allen wrench, if I can find it. Here, we're going to hit this guy here. And the drill rod feels good all the way across. I'm trying to tip it this way and, you know, move it around and see what I feel underneath there. I think we're in good shape. Go ahead and run this down the rest of the way. Yeah, it feels good. All right, it's tight, get it out of there, but let me get it out of there. Get this out of here. Now, just for the heck of it, we're going to check. I'm going to check across the top here and make sure we're, you know, in the zone, you know, in the right zip code at least, you know. If it somehow it got tilted in there or whatever, our initial measurements, we were 12 thousandths over on size. So we're not taking it to size right now, but if we build a wedge in there, we're going to have an equal wedge on the other side, and then we ended up too small. So we're just going to make sure we're within a thou or two. I'd be pretty happy, you know. So let's see where we're at with this. Yeah, you're within a couple thousandths there. Up the middle, you're about 1.5 thou. So, yeah, we got to remove a few thousandths anyways to get it cleaned up. So, I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, I think we're going to be in good shape. So, we're probably going to just pull the minimum out of it, out of this side and this side. And just for the heck of it, let's check. Check it over here too. Let's roll this on its side. And I've lapped the sides of the vise, the back, and the side especially to make sure it laid flat. I already checked the vise to make sure it is in fact square, and it is. This is an import, but and it took some hand lapping to get it down to where I was happy with it. It was out by about 1/2 thou when I got it. So if you want to see more on that, go watch Keith Finner's video on unfinished tooling. He kind of pokes fun at the Asian market when the stuff comes in. I didn't really buy a toolmaker's vise. I kind of bought a toolmaker's vise kit. So it's kind of it turns them into kind of a do-it-yourself kind of thing. When you get them, you still gotta futz with them a little bit. That's really out. That is 0 up there. 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4. Man, it's about 4 thousandths out. Yep, we're good. Okay, we're calling that good. We're going to go on the surface grinder and do this side, flip it, and do this side, and then we're going to come back and we're going to check it for squareness. Alrighty? Herb, your hammer's got a lot of hit. I got to learn to take it easy with that thing. Alright, stay tuned. Okay, so yesterday, or the other day when I posted my video, I was talking about the paper trick. Now, and a couple guys asked what the paper trick was for touching off. I'm going to show you. I'm not even going to turn the machine on. I'm just going to bring the spindle down with a piece of paper here. And I already know how thick this paper is. It measures anywhere between 2.8 and 3 thousandths, so it's pretty darn close. I'm just feeling for when that wheel's gonna grab there, and the paper kind of helps cushion it so we don't bang into anything. And this is how I touch off. You know, if you've got a better way, I'm all ears, but yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit of drag right there. So now I know I'm within you know, 2.5, 3 thousandths to my work. And my wheel's dressed, and my vise is sitting at no particular angle. I'm just reducing the size of the pass. I stoned the table. I gave it a quick stoning, even though I probably didn't need to, but I just did to check it for high spots. Wipe it down with your hand. Clean, clean, clean. Let me go fire up the machine. Oh, I got some contact. And I think we're feathering off, which is okay. Not going to be greedy, going to give it a half thou down feed. I'm going to do another thou and do it in the reverse direction. This time I'm going front to back. Okay, contact's good. I'm got a little holiday out here, but I'm getting real close to getting cleaned up. That's just a little bit of mist coolant in a spray bottle. I got one little corner that still needs a bit, and then we're gonna get our vise flipped. I'm gonna keep working it from this time from front to back. Alright, my last pass, 2/10. Just kind of dusted on the way across. And you probably won't even see any spark at all. You may hear it. Yeah, you'll hear that. And a real small step over, only like a 50,000th step over. not going to move it at all. I'm going to go ahead and come all the way back. And you can hear it just going shh, just barely skimming it. This is kind of like a spring pass on a lathe. This will help to ensure we didn't work a hump into it and get the center sitting proud. Okay, that's a done deal. I'll try to scope it out here, try to get your light around. Maybe you can see the finish on that. Or maybe not. Okay, let me shut down. I got to clean up. I got to get the grinder dust off, blow it all out, clean the top of the mag, clean the side of my vise, and get it flipped over. I'll bring you back when we're ready to do that. And here we are for more of the same. Same deal, paper trick. Just when you see that wheel start pulling that wheel over, you know you got it. There it is. All right, so we know we're within a couple thou of that. Or 2.8 to be precise. There we're tapering off into oblivion. Let's go ahead and go front to back, about a half thou down feed. Another half thou, back to front. Front to back. Another half thou. We're about 3/4 of the way across the part right now. Cleaned up at least. Yeah, we're getting there. Mainly this doesn't really, usually I hose it really hard with the coolant if I'm doing big flat surfaces, but those little holes in the middle make for nice, like an interrupted cut, and it's cutting really freely right now. It's hard to explain, but you can kind of feel it after a while, how freely the wheel cuts. Okay, we just got one little corner there that's missing. Give it another half thou. I think I heard a kiss there. Oh yeah. And I'm still missing a little bit though. Just on that little extreme corner there. Maybe I can raise you guys up just a tad so you can look down on the grinding. Maybe that would help. What do you think? Any better? Let's try that. All right, this is, wow, that's really in my way. Let's give it a 2/10 down feed. Right here in this very corner is where I'm still missing. Haven't touched anything there yet. Still missing. All right, I'm going to give it another couple of tenths and run it front to back. There, we got it. All right, I'm going to come back to front and just with a spring pass. I'm not even going to do any down feed at all. Just going to let it skim. Okay. Meet you back over at the surface plate. Okay, so we're back from the grinder over to the surface plate, and I blew down, but it's got still got quite a bit of junk on there. I don't want to contaminate the work surface here, so I'm going to blow down over here. And give it a wipe down with a lint free. And then we can start working on it and see how we did. And see how much more room we got to work with. Now to refresh your memory, these two sides done, lapped, we're happy with them. This side and this side, we just finished grinding. So they should be square with each other at this point. We don't really care what these are doing right now as long as we've got some meat to drag down later. I'm going to start with a quick lap. And I keep that under a piece of glass here. It's nice and flat. And I'm just going to give it a real gentle lap. Make sure I did it on the one I just ground. That would be good, right? And grinder mark's gone. That's pretty good. Okay, let's do this little side here. Okay, looking good. All right, now we got to figure out square, and I'll probably need to get set up for that because we got to check it for square in a couple different ways. And I'm going to use my comparator that I haven't finished yet, which is basically just a steel block with a little rail on the side of it. But I'm going to get that set up and show you how I'm going to use that. I'll bring it back for that. Okay, so I'm set up now to check for square. I was trying this little gauge that Tom Lipton sent me. This is that old Alina Swiss made, and I just couldn't get the angle. The head of this one is pretty straight, that little piece right there. But if you look at the Mitutoyo, it's it's angled and the dial is rolled back. So it lends itself to this application a little easier. But I was gonna try to use Tom's gauge, but I just couldn't get the angles right and still be able to view the gauge properly. So it's limited on that. It's an early one though, and just what a heavy little nice unit. Anyways, square block, granite square block, and then we've just got a little floating block here with a mag in the back, and we just come up like this and basically calibrate it for comparison. And I'm zeroed there. Got my zero dial right here, so I'm happy that that's a 0. Now we're checking this block, and I marked this block on the sides that I haven't ground yet. I got an X there and an X there, so we're not even going to be looking at those. We are going to be checking it here, here, and here for square. All right. So we're going to roll in like this, pretty gentle. I'm within a 1/10. I don't think you can see the gauge. Again, you're going to have to take my word for it. And then we're going to come in again here. And same, within a 1/10. And now on this side, we can measure on this side and this side. When we're here, it doesn't do us any good to come over here because we on this side, because we haven't ground here yet. And we can check it just for grins. See how close the machine work is. Now you're within a 1,000th, you know, so that's not terrible. And we're going to come in here, check it here, within a 1/10. We're going to check it over here. Then that one's right on 0. We can flip it here, check it here. And I'm just kind of rolling it in slowly so I don't slam the gauge around. There it is. 2/10. 1/10. And then come back to here and verify that we didn't bump and move or do anything funny like that. Okay, so we're right back on our 0 right there. There's one more square to check, and it's a real low one. It's checking it this way, and I got to reset this thing and get it down real low because it's the same height as my block here. So I'm gonna have to actually swing it over and get on the side over here to do that. So it's kind of funny to check this for squareness, but it needs to be done. So I'm gonna set for that real quick. And here we are with our setup here, and you can see it's way over to the side, so I can measure off to the side of the block. And I'm just going to run it into this hunk of granite. And, oh, I'm pretty close. And get it zeroed. And bump it a couple times, make sure it's going to repeat. Wiggle it around a little bit. Alright, we're confident that's a good 0. Now we got our block down on this low side. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to measure it here. Then a 1/10. Flip it. Same thing within a 1/10. Okay, so now we know we've worked out the parallelism here. We've worked it out to square on 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. We've got 2 sides left, and we need to bring them to size, and we need to keep them parallel. That's all we got left to do. This thing's going to be done. This actually isn't that hard. The hardest part is doing the measuring and going back and forth and double and triple checking yourself to make sure you've got you're accurate. Use gauge blocks, use a micrometer, use dial calipers, use a surface gauge, whatever you got to keep double checking yourself. you know, and the more accurate your standards are, the more accurate your work's going to be. So let me get set up to measure and see how much we need to take out of these things. And we want to, again, we want to sneak up on our sizes. We don't want to make an undersized block. Now we've got the perfect opportunity to ruin our work. Or Tom's. I love working on Tom's stuff. I get to experiment on him. Okay, I'll bring you back in a sec. Okay, so we're ready to start bringing, I thought I'd start with the 2-inch side first and start bringing it down. And I just got a mic, and then I got a gauge block, and I'm going to check my mic against the gauge block first. And just feeling a little bit of drag there. I think it's just barely dragging through there. Okay, so we're happy that our mic's good at the 2-inch end. You know, we don't care what it's doing at the other end of the scale. We're measuring 2-inch, so use a 2-inch gauge block to measure 2-inch. Set your mics at 2-inch. That way, if your little lead screw is off inside, and you know you might be right at full scale, but it might be off a little bit at the lower end of the scale. So we're just going to come in here and keep backing it out, backing it out, backing it out. Holy moly, there we go. We're about 10 thousandths, 10.5 thousandths big. 10.2. See what we got over here. About 11.7. 11.6. Yeah, here in the middle somewhere. $11 thousandths. Big. Okay. Yep. Okay, so I think we're going to pull about, we're going to go get it on the surface grinder. I'm going to actually block it up. I'll reinforce it with some blocks on the side just to keep it from moving on me. You know, get a block on each side, and maybe another one out front, and get it captured in there on 3 sides and get it magged down, and get this top about 11.5 thou. I'm going to take off about 10.5 and come back and measure it. All right. Okay, and here we're coming up on the end of it, and I got my 3 gauge blocks out. I got 1, 2, and 3 right there. So we're gonna set our scale in 3 different heights. It's currently set for the middle one right now, so it's set for 2-inch. So we just bring our 2-inch over and 0 our dial. And then we can bring in our block. And I've left Tom about 1/10 of a thou for lapping if he feels so inclined, if he wants to polish them and make them like a mirror or whatever. So that's the 2-inch side. He's got a 1/10 left there. Let's zoom down to the 1-inch side. That was on the previous video, but we'll do it again anyways. Fussy, fussy. And we'll get our block going back and forth, and we're good there. Okay, we're happy that that's on 1. And again, I left him at 1/10 of an inch. Or 1/10, let's try 1/10 of a thousandth. I left him a 1/10 of a thousandth for lapping if he wants to run it across some 1200 grit paper or something and make them like a mirror or whatever. But they're good and flat all the way around. Okay, so that's the 1 inch. The 3 inches is what gave me the trouble. And I'll tell you why. I was working out the squareness. After I came off the machine, I was working out the squareness. And I use 320 grit to make any adjustments. And then after the adjustment's made and I'm happy that it's square again, I'll take it back over to the surface grinder and just dust it lightly just to get it squared back up, and then flip and do the other side. Now that may or may not be the right thing to do, but doing that, I ended up, I climbed up on my size way faster than I expected, and I am 4/10 short on the 3 inch side. But like I've said before, Tom, I don't think Tom's building the space shuttle up there, even though we all suspect it. I don't think he's building the space shuttle or anything super critical there. But his little 1, 2, 3 block is going to be 4/10 of a thousandth shy on the 3 inch side. And we're happy that that's a good 0 there. So we'll put our 3 inch block over here. And we're going to come here. And there's our shortness there, 3/10. But you know what? I can't put the material back, so what it is what it is. But we've got our square, we've got our 2 size, except on the 3 inch side, we're shy by a few tenths, and this thing's getting packed up and going back to him. So you get a good last look at it before it gets put in wax paper and packed in rock salt and water and wax paper and then shrink wrapped, and then put it on the slowest mail service I can find. By the time it gets there, it'll be so rusty it will have built up that extra 4/10. What do you think? All right, guys, that's the end of the 1, 2, 3 block and my learning experience with that. But appreciate you watching. We'll talk to you all later. Bye.